Hello and welcome to this edition of You and the Law. On You and the Law, we add law to the news. My name is Ekemunidi. I'm a legal practitioner and I'm always glad to be your host on this show. Very recently, a member of the Federal House of Representatives in Nigeria made a proposal for the scrapping of the Nysc. The member representing one of the federal constituencies in Rivers State gave reasons for presenting that bill for the scrapping of the Nysc. He basically said that Nysc has outlived its usefulness and has become an avenue where Nigerian youths are endangered on a daily basis, some losing their lives in the course of moving from one part of the country to the other, or to insurgency, or to one ill in society or the other. And for these and many more reasons, he has asked for the scrapping of the Nysc. Now, there are legal issues arising from this very proposal, and the issues are: what are the requirements? Assuming that Nysc can be scrapped, what are the requirements required, for the scrapping of the Nysc? Is it something that can be done just by a bill presented by the House of Representatives without more? Or does it require more than presentation of bill by the National Assembly for the scrapping of the Nysc? Now, Nysc is a creation of law, and therefore, whatever needs to be done to Nysc, whatever needs to be done by way of amendment of the Nysc Act, or whatever needs to be done by way of scrapping the Nysc, has to be done in conformity with the law. Scrapping the Nysc means doing something to affect the Nysc Act. And for you to do that, there are some requirements of the law that must be followed. I think it is important before we proceed that I read two significant sections of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for you to be able to follow the conversation to see whether it is easy to scrap the Nysc or not. Let me read those sections. So the first section that is relevant to this conversation is section 315 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. 315 sub 5. It reads, "Nothing in this Constitution shall invalidate the following enactments, that is to say, A. The National Youth Service Corps Act, B. The Public Complaints Commission Act, C. The National Security Agencies Act, D. The Land Use Act." Okay, so that's the very significant section. That section is very important for the purpose of this discussion. Okay, so from the section just read, you have seen that the Nysc Act is not just any ordinary act. It is an act of the National Assembly. It is an act of Parliament that has been made part and parcel of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. You could see from that section that only 4 acts have been domesticated into the Constitution. It is not every act of the National Assembly. Nigeria has over the years gotten not less than 1,000 acts passed by Parliament, but only 4 have been made part of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Nysc happens to be number 1 of those 4. The implication of making an act of Parliament to be part of the Constitution is that you cannot just amend any of such acts like that. You cannot amend such acts like that, let alone scrapping the entire institution that have been created by that act of Parliament, which has been made part and parcel of the Constitution. Now, for the acts of Parliament that have not been made part of the Constitution, it's very easy to amend. The National Assembly will just propose a bill for amendment of the act and then pass it 1, 2, 3 times, and then the president signs, and so on, and it becomes law. But for those acts that have been made part and parcel of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the process of amendment is not that easy. The process of amendment is the same with the process of amending any section of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And the next question is, what is that process that is required for the amendment of any section of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? Let's also look at that section of the Constitution. In this case, section 9 of the 1999 Constitution. And let me read. "An act of the National Assembly for the alteration of this Constitution shall not be passed in either house of the National Assembly unless a proposal is supported by the votes of not less than 2/3 majority of all the members of that house and approved by resolution of the houses of assembly of not less than 2/3 of all the states. Okay, so that's a very significant provision of the Constitution that has to do with what you should do if you want to amend the Constitution. Now, it therefore means that before the NYSC Act can be amended or before NYSC can be scrapped, there has to be a concurrence of the members of the National Assembly by 2/3 majority agreeing to the scrapping of the NYSC. And after that, it doesn't stop there. After that, that very proposal has to be sent to all the houses of assembly in the entire Federation of Nigeria, and the houses of assembly are expected to sit in parliament and then pass a bill supporting the proposal for the scrapping of the NYSC. And you have to get 2/3 majority of all the houses of assembly before that exercise can be validly done in law and before that exercise can be said to be complete in law. Anything outside that, you cannot amend a section of the NYSC Act, let alone scrap the NYSC. So in essence, you can see from the two sections of the Constitution, Section 15 of the Constitution and Section 9 of the Constitution shows clearly that the NYSC Act is not just like any other act. It is an extraordinary act, okay? The NYSC is not just like any other institution in Nigeria. It is an institution that has been created by Parliament and has been domesticated in the Constitution. And before you can do anything to alter a section of the NYSC Act or to scrap the NYSC as the Honorable Member is proposing, you have to follow the due process of law. That due process of law is a cumbersome process, which means you have to pass through the National Assembly, passing the bill into law, and after that, sending it to the various houses of assembly in the entire states, in all the states of the Federation of Nigeria. The states in the Federation of Nigeria must concur, 2/3 majority of all the states must concur before you can do anything to the NYSC Act. So I think that the proposal by the Honorable Member is a Herculean proposal. It's not something that can just be done by the wave of the hand. It is something that the Honorable Member needs to do more before he can achieve that proposal to scrap the NYSC. Thank you very much for watching this very episode of the program. You can always tune in anytime to watch other episodes of the program to learn as much as you can from the basic principles of law in Nigeria. We add law to the breaking news whenever they break, and we also find time to discuss other issues of law that do not really have connection, with the breaking news items. Thank you. Watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also watch us on Facebook and other social media handles. Thank you once again for watching, and do remain blessed to watch the next edition of the show.